Taxing the rich. My next question. It has a popular ring to it. It's being spoken about repeatedly. I don't know why, but will Chidambaram actually take that chance? Meghnad Desai, what do you think?
Well, I think there is no harm in trying. I hope the rich are clever enough to evade taxes, as they always do. But I think there is no doubt that Indian tax system is not progressive enough. And there is a general resentment that a lot of subsidies are being given to the rich and not matching enough for the poor. So I think, but he will have to find a clever way of taxing the rich.
Well, why are they talking about
unless
it?
Unless it is effective, it will only be
Why are they talking about it? Now, I don't. Can someone explain to me, as a layman, why is there so much talk on taxing the rich? Only because, it seems good to take this kind of a position in a pre-election year, to be punishing the rich. It has this sort of ringtone to it.
See, when people criticize subsidies for the poor, the answer is, well, the rich get a lot of subsidies as well. And so why are you complaining? So in answer to that, you said, no, we're going to tax the rich a little bit so that we can cut subsidies a little bit.
Yeah, sure, but will he do it, is my question.
That is the argument.
Will he really do it, is my question. Swami?
No, I don't think so. Arnab,
he won't do it.
Arnab, I want to come in on this.
Yeah.
Sorry, I want to come in on this. I don't think so. We're not talking about whether he should or he shouldn't.
Will he?
I don't think he's going to do it because through the whole of the next year, he needs the international capital markets to rate India well. He needs the stock market prices to remain high. He will have to next year. This year, he has had to get 30,000 crores on disinvestment. Next year, he'll probably have to get 45 to 50,000 crores out on disinvestment. He cannot spook the markets. So however much he might wish to do it, and however much some economists will feel that that is a good progressive tax, I would be very
unhappy to
I don't think he's going to do it. And I think he'll be quite silly to do it this year when he wants the markets the way he wants them.
Swami, there's the other question of, on the tax front, Swami, there's the other question of the fact that tax disputes have gone up and we are paying interest on tax disputed amounts to the tune of about 37,000 crore. Now, the Vodafone issue or taxing the super rich or the corporates, that's been in a major area of worry, and taxes this year have not been collected at the rate that the finance minister would have wanted them to be collected. So in this backdrop, how do you see him behaving on the tax front?
As far as the, there are large, I think about 50,000 or crores is tied up just in transfer pricing disputes and about 300,000 crores in all the other disputes. If you can have some kind of dispute settlement mechanism which is nice and clean, frankly, out of that a whole lot can come in. Now that is at the technical level, and that will certainly help him bring down the fiscal deficit. Over and above that, the real problem I think is that from last year they started saying that, multinationals indulge in transfer pricing on goods and services, we have to check that, fine. But somehow now they brought capital transactions into that. And we have a situation where Shell was slapped with a demand of 15,000 crores for the issue of fresh shares. Issue of fresh shares nowhere in the world is regarded as income. So, something is going wrong where we appear to be taxing FDI. I think Chidambaram would need to get up and make it very clear that, look, transfer pricing we will tax if we find that, there is misuse, but we are not going to tax capital inflows. If he makes this kind of message clear, I think he can ensure that a certain amount of money comes in. And meanwhile, if he wants to raise some more money out of the rich, please remember that Jaswant Singh back in 2003 put a 10% surcharge on income tax, incomes above 8.5 lakhs, and that actually was given up, I think, only about 3 or 4 years ago. So Chidambaram can certainly say, as Mr. Jaswant Singh has brought in this particular thing, I would also like to bring in this 10% surcharge. It would be temporary on high incomes, and in due course it will go away. I think that way you can get a certain amount of income without spooking the market.
No, Navika, I want to say something quite clearly. That the issue is not about taxing the rich more. The issue is about collecting. We have a system where the number of people declaring taxable income of 10 lakhs or more is pitiable, it's shameful, and everybody knows that that number is so small that it's a palpable hoax on the tax system.
Yeah.
There is no reason why you cannot double the number of people on the upper end of the tax system who are avoiding taxes. And PC has done this before. He tried to do this before. You try and figure out through the budget, make strong statements about revenue collection, about tax collection, about better tax administration, and get the guy who is going around with a big car using diesel and not paying tax to pay tax, instead of increasing the tax rate of those who pay tax.
Yeah, but my bigger question is, which we haven't really come to yet. I want to spend a couple of minutes on it before I go into my first break. Is, this is, gentlemen, we are looking at it through an economic lens. The government has to in a pre-election year. My premise is this government, where whatever Chidambaram may want to do, whatever the credit rating agencies, Meghnad Desai may want, he is going to have to loosen his purse strings for large sops. We are not talking about that. At least there has to be an impression of large sops, irrespective of what, Fitch or S&P are going to tell us.
Well, the problem is that if he does that, and there'll be great temptation to do that from the left wing of the Congress party, inflation will not come down.
But he's going to do that.
Interest rates will not come down.
But he's going to have to do that.
The choice is very simple.
No,
do you want the urban vote? Do you want the urban vote, or you don't want the urban vote?
No, what about the rural vote?
Vote?
No, what about the vote which actually the Congress party today still believes, whether you like it or not, Swami, the Congress party believes that Sops and subsidiaries are vote-fetching instruments. This is the crude reality of it.
And that was the major theme that was presented to Chidambaram when he went to the Congress headquarters, AICC 24 Akbar Road, just a few days ago. That was the overwhelming demand from all congressmen, saying that this is a pre-election year, so don't look at the firstings. Go ahead and announce something.
The rural vote anyway.
Quite right. So, Navika, here's my simple thing. There are hundreds of things I can do behaving as if I am increasing expenditure when in fact I need not spend the money. Let's be very realistic. A large amount of non-plan expenditure can be announced with grand schemes, with many new Rajiv Gandhi schemes, many new Indira Gandhi schemes, many new Mahatma Gandhi schemes, which will not be spent over the second half of the year. So you can get all your kudos for doing it and you won't have to spend cash.
But that will have an adverse impact on the deficit, on the fiscal deficit, and that's where the credit rating agencies are looking at you.
No. People will actually see halfway down. People will see halfway down the fiscal year how the accounts have worked out. So if Mr. Chidambaram wants to, as is expected, keep the Congress party happy and keep his leadership happy, he can announce some SOPs. The fact of the matter is not even 25 to 30% of those SOPs will actually be spent.
But in a pre-election year, I'm sorry, but the lay logic would be that in a pre-election year, you're looking for SOPs which can be felt, which can reach, which can have impact. I don't think that the Congress party is naive enough to think that the Indian voter will vote because something has been announced and sometime in the future, Swami, it will come into effect.
Adda, if I may come in, there are two big issues. One is the Aadhaar scheme. There is going to be the direct benefits transfer scheme, which is going to be tom-tommed. In this particular thing, you don't necessarily have to put more money out. If the same amount of money is put out more efficiently and actually reaches the beneficiary, that is a very major benefit and a vote catcher. Not only that, some of the pilot projects have shown that there are a large number of ghost cards, non-existent people getting benefits right now. If through the Aadhaar biometrics, you say, where are the fingerprints, where are the irises, if you don't have those, you don't get those cash benefits. In other words, you can actually have a direct cash benefit system which benefits the real beneficiaries and yet saves you money by cutting out all those ghost entries. So this is one thing which can actually produce a large number of beneficiaries, potential voters, without necessarily costing a lot of money. Secondly, I said the food security bill will be passed. There will be some kind of impact in some places. And third, I mean, this point that Omkar was making and me, a very large number of schemes are often announced which take the form of an additional amount of loans here, additional amount of loans there. It can be done through the banking system. It does not necessarily mean large sums out of the budget. So I said the two big programs would be direct cash transfer, food security. Then there will be a large number of these small little schemes, one for each vote bank. But please, the biggest single measure is going to be bringing down inflation. That is going to be the one that has the major impact. Bringing down inflation happily coexist, therefore, with bringing down the fiscal deficit, attracting foreign money, avoiding a credit.
The options are very limited. I'm going to take a short break. When we come back, you have an economist prime minister looking at all this. Will he throw caution to the winds and take a big political gamble in a pre-election year? Everyone in the Congress party would be cheering him on if he does that. How much resistance will there be from the ruling party to Chidambaram? How much is there already? We'll talk about that on the other side.